The Uragath were feared across the stars. Towering beasts made of living metal and sinew, they crushed planets underfoot during war and carved empires across galaxies. No species, not even the hyper-intelligent Dranexi or the energy-shifting Valari, dared question their dominance. The Uragath were the galaxy's strongest species, undisputed champions of strength, endurance, and combat. So when the Galactic Alliance held its first interspecies military exchange aboard the dreadnought Unity Shield, everyone expected the Uragath to lead. They did. First, Captain Grothale of the Uragath stomped into the training hall on day one, his massive frame making the floor groan. His skin rippled with dense armor plates, and his voice thundered as he declared, "Uragath lead, others follow." The command was met with silence, until a soft chuckle came from the back. A human, Second Lieutenant Mason Cole, sat cross-legged near the rear wall, surrounded by his squad of fellow humans. They wore no powered armor, no weapons, just standard training gear. Mason didn't stand up. He didn't even raise his voice. "Sure. You lead." The Uragath captain sneered. "You mock." Mason shrugged. "Not at all. You go first. We'll observe." And so the training began. Day 2, Obstacle Gauntlet. The Uragath charged first, tearing through steel barriers and leaping over fire pits like titans. Grothale bellowed as he finished in record time. The crowd roared. Then came the humans. They didn't sprint. They moved fluid, calculated. They used minimal motion, maximizing momentum. One soldier ducked under a collapsing platform. Another flipped off a vertical wall without slowing. They finished with the second fastest time, but without a single injury. Grothale noticed the difference. "Why hold back?" Mason just smiled. "We sit in the back. Doesn't mean we don't know the way forward." Day 4, Weapons Evaluation. Uragath weapons were massive rail cannons and plasma blades longer than human bodies. When they fired, entire test targets vaporized. Then came the humans again. No heavy weapons, just rifles, controlled bursts, measured shots. But each human scored over 95% accuracy, even while moving, even in zero gravity. They took out smaller, moving targets that even the Dranexi AI couldn't tag reliably. Grothale grunted. "Why use such toys?" Mason replied, "Because war isn't always about power. Sometimes it's about control." Day 6, Combat Simulation. Finally, the event everyone waited for. Squad versus squad urban warfare. Grothale led his Uragath into the simulated city block. They stormed buildings, broke walls, roared their dominance. But they never saw the humans. Not until it was too late. One by one, Uragath units were marked as killed in the simulation, silenced by unseen foes. Grothale himself was taken out after a simulated MP fried his comms. Seconds before Mason whispered behind him, "Bang!" The match ended in 12 minutes. Victory, humans. Grothale stormed out of the simulation zone, trembling with rage. Not from shame, but confusion. Later that night, the confrontation. Grothale found Mason again, still sitting in the back corner of the mess hall. This time he sat down beside him. "You are not strong, not like Uragath, yet you win. How?" Mason glanced at the massive warrior and nodded, finally answering seriously. "You see strength as power, volume, raw might. But humans? We had to survive on a planet that tried to kill us every day. We learned patience, strategy, timing." He leaned forward. "We sit in the back because that's where the quiet ones go. The ones who observe, the ones who plan. By the time we stand up, it's already over." Grothale stared at him. "You let others think you are weak." Mason smirked. "Let? No. We encourage it." Day 8. Emergency drill. The ship's alarms blared. A reactor overload. Not a drill. Chaos erupted as various species scrambled to evacuate or shut down systems. Grothale charged to the engineering bay with 3 of his warriors. They began tearing apart panels with brute strength, trying to reach the core. Then, a voice. "Out of the way!" It was Mason. He and his team slipped past the Uragath, sliding into tight crawl spaces and bypassing security locks. Within 90 seconds, the humans had stabilized the core. Grothale could only watch as Mason climbed out, covered in grease. Not all problems can be punched, Captain. This time, Grothale didn't argue. He just gave a slow, respectful nod. Final day, departure. The Galactic Alliance delegates assembled for closing remarks. The Uragath delegation stood silent until Grothale stepped forward. He turned to face the humans, then bowed deeply. Uragath thought they were strongest, but strength comes in many forms. We thought those who sat in the back were weak. We were wrong. He looked directly at Mason. Now we understand. You sit in the back, because you are the last thing our enemies ever see.